Okay, test, test. Cool. Howdy, folks. My name's Dave. I'm a woodturner. Welcome to the channel. It's Twitch Tuesday, and we're going to turn some wood. I want to start off today. I've got some really nice crotch pieces that I want to turn into twice turn bowls. So I'm going to rough those out, and then I'm going to. I've got a project that I need to do some piercing on, so I'm going to do that during the broadcast too. Clean off my glasses here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a crazy week for sure, especially as far as weather is concerned. I'm also a beekeeper, so I've had to work with whatever weather comes this way, and we're dropping back down into the 30s again, starting I think tonight or tomorrow night, and then it'll be that way for another day or two. I think it's probably what's been coming off the Rockies. I understand they got more snow. I'm not surprised that we're getting crazy weather because I've seen all of the chemtrails in the sky. And around here, once the chemtrail starts showing up, it's 24 to 48 hours, and we have
Good evening, Mr. Wright.
A big weather change. Like we just had a really heavy rainstorm that wasn't in the forecast for Monday until at least 2 days ago it wasn't. And that was yesterday. So Saturday, saw the chemtrails, and then I knew within a day or two, even though the weather app said it was supposed to be 70 plus and sunny on Monday, that it was probably going to rain. And sure enough, it did. Uh, and then they started flying over again yesterday. So, which tells me that we're going to have more rain here in the next day or two. And or something anyway. The temperature is definitely dropping, and that's. I just wish they'd stop geoengineering. They really need to stop that. It's just ruining things. And Mav, howdy, good afternoon. How you is, man? All right, so let's pull these guys up, and I've got a couple of pieces. I don't know. This stuff was a little bit older. The bark was pretty wormy. You can see probably some of the little trails on the cambium layer there. So got that all cleaned out, but I wanted to not let these dry before I turn them into blanks. So I'm going to do that. And I don't need this. So I've got 4 to start with, and then I'm going to have tomorrow, I think, if I should have time to get everything cut up, I'll have some black walnut crotchwood to set up. I want to turn a bunch of bowls and stuff out of this crotchwood. I think that would look really cool. So let's get this guy set up. I'm hoping I can get this. Well, I should be able to get it on a balance point, but I'm thinking this would probably be a smaller piece than I cut this little billet for, which is okay. I've got both sides of the crotch out of this. I think this is, this is either elm or maple. I think it's maple. Gotta move that. Okay, so it is heavier. I'm surprised. Okay, I'll go up a little bit. But I do want to start on the balance point. That's usually where I want to be. Doggone it, that point just sunk in, so I obviously did not get this Allen screw tight enough. Oh, well, that was quite loose. I obviously forgot to tighten the thing in the first place, apparently. Let's try that again. There. All right, so what? I think that was the center I had on that side. But looks like we'll just have to stab a new one. If I can hold on to it, that is. Okay, I am having several kinds of trouble here. Looks like this one also sank in, but I know I tightened this guy. So I guess I'm going to loosen this up and tighten it again. Get my little push stick here. Where is that guy? There we go. That should be good. All right, that should hold, I hope. And we'll go with that right there. Okay, clearly heavier. So I'm going to move the whole thing up to right there. Okay. Still heavy on this side. Oops. What's stopping you? Hey, easy there now. There, that should be just enough. Okay. So heavy there. And I'll bring that up a bit. Oh, too far. Okay. This one might be a little tricky just because it's got a really funky shape to it, but you see the two branches came out of the central trunk right here. And then one of the branches of the crotch and the other one. So you're not helping. You are not loosening up. Why? Where's my stabby hole? There it is. Alright, we'll move it over to here. Oh, just a wee bit too far. So I'll move it back up to right there. And I think I'm going to... Oh, you know what I am going to do? See if I can help myself out here. Let's see, where is it? And I'll make myself a flat spot. At least relatively flat. I'd have to turn that thickness away anyway, so it's not going to hurt anything to chisel it off. All right, let's see what we get with that. Throw that guy, probably there. It's going to be too high. All right, I'll try that. Definitely too heavy. That's too heavy there. So I can bring this up. Way now. To there. And then this guy up. Go back to that guy. This just isn't quite loose enough. All right, I'm gonna go with that. I'll have a little bit of vibration, but it won't be terrible. And I can live with that. All right, all that is gonna clear. Very good. And I will want the longer tool rest. So that will clear. That should be the longest corner right there. And now let's make sure it's secure. Okay, that's clear. It's all clear. Groovy. All right, glasses are on my head, so now they're on my face. Need a little bit more light. I'm going to do that guy. And I think we're ready to rock, man. All right. All this clears. Whoop, that doesn't. That clears, that clears. Okay. Banjo. Yep. All right. all these pieces are somewhat green. I don't know how long this piece has been setting out. It was in a questionable pile, and it turned out that it was in better shape than it looked once I got the bark off and everything. But still, I don't know that I'm going to get quite the display of figure, because it is an older piece of timber. But it was worth, because the wood's still fairly good. I mean, it's really not punky or anything. At least not, it's just at the very early stage. Okay, almost round. Hey, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this is maple, but it could be elm. The age of the wood's what's kind of throwing me off. How close did that get me to round? Hey, we're just about there. But I really wanted to spin this stuff because I don't want it to dry. Without me taking all the stuff out that I can take out, you know, the splits, cracks, whatever, all that stuff. Where am I looking for? I'm looking for this guy. Well, actually, I just need that. I don't know why that was not loud enough. You're on a 10-stream streak, dude. The Brewers are beating the Cubs 1-0, top of the third. Hey, cool. I used to follow the Cubbies and the Cardinals when I lived in Missouri, sorry. when I was a young lad. I used to really enjoy following baseball and hockey. True. But I think the Cubs, well, I cannot remember what the stats are on the Cubs. I haven't followed sports in a long time, but I do remember that with the Bears and the Cubs. Let's see. I want to say it was St. Louis Blue. That was the hockey team. I don't know if that's still the hockey team. So I haven't followed sports in a long time. For me, back when Pete Rose was still playing and getting caught for gambling on his own sport. But he was a damn good ball player. Ah, okay. The one team I followed the most used to be the Broncos. Spent a lot of my teenage years in Colorado. Lyle Alzado.
K14 said,
remember, but Packers. Then it was John Elway, who was the QB for the Broncos. They had a couple of Super Bowl wins. I think, I stopped watching the Broncos because they were going after a Super Bowl win that they were losing. And I found myself yelling at the television, and I realized, like, nobody's going to hear me. Why am I yelling at the TV? Why am I drinking? Why am I drinking all this alcohol just to yell at the TV and get all worked up? So I was at a Super Bowl party, and I told my friends, "Sorry, I gotta go. This is like the silliest thing I've ever done in my life, is sit here and yell at a television. I gotta stop." And I haven't really watched sports since. Now I fill my time with stuff like this and beekeeping. I really enjoy reading books. Those are still a thing. Will that work? Maybe a little bit shallower bowl, but we're working with the natural shape of the crotch here. All I did was geographically split it up wherever the grain went, and measured things out that way. I didn't like, oh, this part of the tree I had to get rid of the pith, and this part of the tree is a little bit skinnier than that part of the tree. It's like, you know what? For geographical center, cut these up, create blanks out of them, twice turn, and figured that'd be good enough. I can work out the rest, and I am. Okay, so that will be my tenon. Let's get this. Come on now. Wrong side. There we go. That is round enough. It's okay, that's a little rough. Now I gotta work on this side. Swing it around. If at first you don't succeed, take it off the safety. So that gives me, all right, it's not bad. 2-inch bowl, bad 1 3/4, 2-inch deep bowl, but it'll have some of that figure running through it, so that's all that really matters. So this one I'm doing a little backwards, and that's okay. I've got another one I'm going to turn the other way. We'll see how that figure shows up there. And the next one. So this guy, let's move this out of the way. Let's see. This I did not see. How bad is that? Not bad. All right. That'll be all right. It looks like a little bit of delamination right here on this outer ring, right on the outside. So as long as that doesn't carry through everywhere else, it should be all right. Let's see, who was the big announcer there? Oh, Harry Carey was one of the biggest announcers when I used to watch sports. That was a long time ago. That guy was crazy. Come on. Let's get this back part again. I thought for sure that would pop right out of there. There we go. Alright, let's see what we got from here. Okay, so they both got to come up. Somewhere in there might be all right. Okay, so now we'll move this one up. Whoops, lost it. That's not going to be right, Dave. All right, let's try that again. Show me the way. There we go. Whoops. Lost it again. There it is. Okay, so this has got to come up. And that's got to come up. Oh, too far. This is the most fiddly bit, man. Show me where you want to go. Oh, nope, you slipped off that point. Come on. Okay, so just a little bit right there. All right, so that's what I'm going to call center. Now let's get this secure. There we go. I don't guess I might need the long one again, so we'll just put the long one on. Okay, that will clear. Barely. There we go. And that point will not clear. That's not good. We don't want to be stuck there. You know what, though? I really should do it from this side. Okay. You are going to be fiddly too, aren't you? Okay. Whoops, wrong tool. Speaking of which, I no longer have a tool. Fell into the shavings. There we go. So I got a bit of a split happening right there, but that should get turned away. That's going to clear. And I'm almost to where I'm clearing the banjo. Should be it. Yep. Okay. Well, I was going to hog this off, but the collet won't stand it. Trying to allow the tool to spin. have to keep rotating the handle in my hand to keep the bevel in the right spot. The downward force and cutting all this air. Make a tool span in the collet, which I am not a fan of for some reason. I do like my tools to stay handled when they're in a handle. We around. Okay. Time to make a tenon. There's the delamination right there. And it's just that outer ring on the outside of the crotch wood, so it's not carrying through anywhere else. So I'm good with that. Easier for me to use. Did you fall off? No, come on now. I thought I set you down here. Okay, so now I'm looking for my other tool rest. It looks like, well, I guess it did. It must have fallen off the other side. So I didn't see it just sitting on top of the shavings, but I must have thrown a few. So let's see. There it is. All right. Too close. That's a pretty good shape. I wonder if I... Nope, this will be a shallow boil. I've got to get rid of that. Yeah, I've got to get rid of that shake there. Okay, next piece. Let's see, that one's oh, good. All right, these are both a little bit more even in thickness throughout. Which means this guy we can move back. Okay, so move this one up. Probably still be too heavy in the bottom. Well, it's always going to be heavy in the bottom. That's what I'm looking for. Like, where is it heavy in the bottom? And I'll keep moving that up. Okay. Let gravity help me find the balance point on these dudes. Oh, went too far. Okay, that's gonna be it. So now let's make sure it is secure. Do the tool rest real quick. Tra-la-la. There we go. I think I will. Whoops, gotta take that out. Actually, what I really want to do, if I can, I can't really do that yet. All right, so that clears, that clears. This is the one that I'm worried about. All right, good to go. I got a lot closer to the balance point on that one. Oops, not too close. That's too close. So let's see. That's what I want right there. So that will clear, and it will clear there. It will all clear. All right, good deal. Now get the banjo underneath it. Okay, not quite round yet. Hey, Schmo, if you're on right now, the more I look at this, the more I'm thinking, this is elm. So thank you. Are we? Yeah, okay. Let's clean that up a bit. But I'll take opinions. I mean, sometimes species look so similar that you can only go by like hardness and density, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's a nice size. All right, let's make sure I got rid of any shakes. Yes. So the one that was there is now gone. Yay! Spin it the other way, dude. There we go. It's all gonna not clear because I'm too close right there. Good thing I checked. So I'm working on, actually, let's get this other view here. So I'm working on tenon on this side. I want to get out of any soft wood. Oops. That tool fall out too? Okay, I think I can reach it. There we go. Put that off there. And then I got it around. Hey, what is smacking? That is right there. Did have a little bit of pith left there too, so I wanted to make sure that didn't stick around. Okay, that's a good shape, and the tenon is nice, and the tide is high. Oh, I'm gonna dive off into singing Blondie songs. Okay, I need this guy. Oops, no, you're not gonna fall off. Falling off is not an option. Okay, got that there. So now I can do it from this side. There we go. And the next one. Come here now. Something like that. There we go. You know what? I'm not doing it that way. I'll just have to spin it around one more time. Okay, so I'm going to say this guy needs to go up here. Like in there somewhere. Okay, and then this guy needs to come up just a smidge on this side. I think I went into the same hole. Yep. That's it. It's a lot easier when the thickness is fairly even. Bring back the long tourist. Okay. And that means that I want to move this guy over here. That will clear. That's my longest corner. Come on. That will clear, that will clear. Okay. Yeah, I can always tell, like, when I'm on the balance point by the way it sounds, even. Best I can get the banjo underneath there now. Should make it a practice to turn off your lathe when you need to move the tool rest. Okay, I got a little bit of a split here from the drying process, a little bit of pith right there, but that's going to go away. This will be the bottom, so I'll be shaping the bowl from that side. All right, am I round? I'm round. I'm round enough. Not quite right. So the feathers down here, this is the bottom. Okay. The Blues are in misery. Oh, you like to? Oh, and the Packers. Yeah, yep. Used to definitely follow the Packers, Green Bay, and then Minnesota. The Vikings were one of my underdog teams when I used to watch sports. Don't know why. I mean, I'm not from Wisconsin or anything. I just really like the team. stopped it yet. I could leave a rim on this bowl, but nice pass. Yeah. Okay, looks all right. I'm really hogging stuff off, so I'm getting shavings in my mouth. And stuck in my beard. Loosen up the tailstock a little bit to get the compression off this wood so I can cut through it without as much trouble as I was just having. Okay. So the figure should be on the outside of the bowl on that one. I might have lost figure on the first one, but it's a thinner bowl, so I'm not sure that yeah, I think it'll still show up okay. We'll find out when they're done drying and ready to be turned the second time. So I don't need this guy. Huh. I guess I didn't have my collar closed all the way because I got shaving down the front of my neck. Kind of itchy. And now that I think about it, I think that the day was relatively warm enough that I can peel a layer off. In case I need it again. Just this. All right, so twice turned. I want to leave it, thicker than I would normally, and I'm not trying to turn these bulls because I don't want them to change shape. So when I turn them, I want them to be dry. I'm trying to preserve as much of the diameter as I can. And I mean, green turn bulls and the moving and all that is fine. I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. Just in this project, I don't want these. These are all going to be twice turned. This, especially this chunk of wood, because it's been sitting around a little longer than some other ones I've got, or at least, rather, I should say, it was sitting where it was sitting, which was not here. A little bit longer. So it is a little bit, it's getting to the point where it's almost starting to go punky a little bit. So I want these to dry. I'm not a fan of trying to sand punky wood when it's wet. I mean, this is just right on the edge of that, starting to punk out. So I want to give it every chance to survive that I can. So now the next trick is to get an even wall thickness, but I'm leaving it, as I said, thicker than I normally would. I'm not trimming it or turning it down to its final dimensions. I'm going to wait until this timber is dry. Now, I got to take this down just a little bit on the front because I've got just a little bit of pith right there. Oh, yeah, I got the right camera on. Never mind. So, hey, well, I was thinking, hey, what a great time to get the camera at the end of the lathe pointing into this. So really, I'm hogging this up. And really, I mean, I don't need to be super aggressive with it, but I really just want to hog this off. Tailstock out of the way. And you gotta come into play there, pal. Yeah, there we go. Drop it down some. almost even. Now get rid of the bane of the twice turned world, and that is sharp corners. No sharp corners. That will be the first bits to crack during the drying process because it's super thin right there, and that's going to wick water away and then start splintering and splitting off. But if I chamfer that edge, now it's got that rounded surface, so this is a lot more material to dry, much more than that fine corner, and it won't dry as fast. Right there. Okay, that's one. You know, I could take off a little bit more out of the bottom. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. What you want? Baby, I got it. What you need? Yeah, I got it. But all I oh, a little respect, just a little bit. Ooh, just a little bit. R-E-S-P-C-T. I'm down what it means to me. Hey, how you doing, man? So, you want to go up Sunday? They're getting freezing weather up there, man. It's supposed to freeze tonight. I mean, we're going to get that here close to it, but they're in 30s and 40s again. That front that was coming off the Rockies hit the UP. Okay, that was number one. So we got to wait for the temps to come back up to do splits up there. Count. There we go. Let go. All right, so there's a lot.
Paranoid
Let's remove from this guy.
I count man. Memorial entrance is going to be nuts in TC.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. And I won't be coming back till after. So I guess I'll have to catch people coming back across the bridge to come down here. Huh? That sucks. So this bowl is going to be about that deep. I want to get rid of that's ring cake. That's it. Yeah, you're going to be just jamming up, aren't you, at the restaurant? Let's say I think I'm done cutting hair, but I'm not done cutting hair. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Bees have definitely started making comb. Yes. Yeah. Would love to replace that, no doubt, man. But hey, we also need to get them. I think might have to play in that hive outside and just remove all the new comb and get them to build more so we have drawn frames there because there's no drawn frames there, man. What the hell? You're slacking. Oh yeah, I'm really talking this off. So you just go at your own pace. Definitely responsible for your own safety and all that stuff. I mean, we're all adults here, right? I am working well within my comfort zone. This is not a weird thing for me. I'm just using just about the entire wing of the bogad. So when I say I'm hogging off, that's what I mean. I'm taking big shavings, removing a lot of material as fast as I can. Part of it is the okay, good. That shake is gone. Part of it is Dave. Come on, English works for you, doesn't it? Occasionally, maybe.
Paranoid
No
Squatch
English for
said
you.
that mason jar is already empty, by the way.
Well, I mean, what about the bucket inside? You're talking about the outside hive, right? Because we put that gallon bucket inside, as I recall. Have you had to fill the observation hive yet? Just curious, or is that something we need to do? I don't know. I don't know. Are we taking it out? I think I don't know. I think probably ought to just leave it in there. You're casting a shadow I don't like.
Paranoid Squatch said,
Oh, do you think you're going to be out there? Well, I've got to be at Twisted Fish at 3 o'clock to drop off some of my work, and then, well, I mean, I was going to go to Newberry from there, but that's obviously not happening until Sunday now. All right, get rid of the sharp edges. What in the world? I am obviously not paying attention. About 411 things on my mind, and I really need to calm that down. Okay, that guy's done. That's number 2, right? Yep. Even wall thickness. Yep. Okay, number 2. Number 3. So you think you'll be there Thursday? Is that what you're saying? Can't remember what year. What, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, right? You're. That's what your schedule is there. I can't remember, but I can barely kind of remember my own weeks because I got so much stuff happening, man. Busy,
Paranoid
busy, busy.
Squatch said, "Is that oak?"
No, this is. I'm pretty sure this is elm. The more I was looking at the grain once I got it, the wood opened up. It looks more like elm than it does maple to me. I thought it was maple, but no, I think this is elm. Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, that's okay. That doesn't matter.
Said, "Might need to be honestly. Very Tuesday and red."
Might need to be, honestly, oak? Or you mean you might need to be at the zoo Thursday? So even though I'm taking large shavings, I'm still just using hand pressure. It's a little bit more hand pressure because the shavings are so big, but that's all I'm using is just fingers to pull the tool or to push it.
Paranoid
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Damn, you're right. Well, I mean, god damn, now I can't even remember if
Paranoid
there's enough
Squatch
frames to
said,
even put
and
in
whenever
there,
mskite all worker size would be tombs nigh drones.
right? Yeah, yeah. So then we need to talk to Cindy about getting more frames purchased because I don't think what was there like 5 frames up in the shed that had foundation that we could swap out, but that's it. Although, I mean, if it's just that hive in the observation hive and we don't have to go another level higher on the outside hive, we'll be all right. And um, Thursday, I'm going to bring, well, no, I better wait on that too. I think it's a 10 frame. It's 10 frame deep, but I need to check with one of my students who gave it to me because I think they might actually want it back. I don't know. Okay, pith is all gone. But if they don't need it, I'll bring it to the zoo. Well, yeah. Yeah, for the win. Yeah. But, I mean, we got to have the frames anyway. A little bit thinner on the bottom. Oh, yeah. Yep. So this wall, so let's move that guy down. This wall thickness here is okay. Now we're good all the way down to here. So I take a little more out of the bottom. Really close. Okay, sharp corners. Hey, Habitus, how you doing, man? Boy, it's been a while, I guess. At least since I've seen you in chat. You may have been lurking in the background on a broadcast or two. You just didn't get in chat like you normally do. But yeah, how you been? Haven't seen you in a while. All right, take that sharp corner off, that sharp corner off. This one is ball number 3, a blank. Whatever. Yeah, this is actually a blank now. So wait for it to dry. I'll finish turning it when it's dry. And this one was the one that was upside down. So the figure actually did not make it in there, although there's spalting and stuff. So that'll look nice. But the figure will be up around these sides of the rim on that one. And these other 3.
Just on the hunt for a new job. So updating the resume and ironing the nice clothes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Are you an AI victim? Are you a victim of AI there? You're in Canada, though. Do they? I mean, yeah, I'm being facetious, of course. AI is everywhere. Canada has AI, right? Eh? Yeah, whatever, man.
I was working for a startup that ran out of funding.
Oh, bummer.
Abatis said.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Woo! A lot of air on that one. There we go.
In a few months, but I don't want to wait
that long. Well, I mean, he's kind of sort of just across the border, but a little bit further west, man. I guess if you live closer to the Sioux.
AI has probably helped me more up to this point.
Okay. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I think that employers are finding, if I read the studies properly, employers are finding that their businesses are actually suffering when they replace actual human employees with AI. So I mean, there's been a bunch of a lot of that happening here in the states because we're just cattle. We're just useless eaters, according to uh, those people who want that Agenda 2030 and all that shit to happen. So.
The only thing I have ever made out of that is a switch for my bottom. Haha. And the same about AI not working as well in some business, probably due to improper implementation.
Yeah, I would think so. But I don't know enough about how they're rolling that stuff out. I used to work in industrial electronics, so I was kind of insulated from that because you can't automate the job I had. It's just not possible. Yeah, my job was to fix all those things. So the AI wasn't going to take, not that I do that anymore, but that job for me was pretty insulated.
Abatus said, add paranoid squatch app, using it to keep the relationship Abatus said, that's great. ERP.
Cool. Yes, yes.
Paranoid squatch said, I seen an I-generated community with SLLDI in it and they were all dead within like 4 days.
Wow. No kidding. Sentencing Porch MKC6UV25. Hey, welcome to the channel. AI viewers. That's interesting. That's one I haven't heard yet. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for participating in chat. Every little bit does help the algorithm, even if you're just here to hit and run. But hopefully you'll stick around. I've actually picked up a couple of followers who stopped in to drop those comments and then like got caught up in watching. So hopefully you'll stick around, man. But welcome. Okay, I held that tool a little awkwardly. Ooh, that still needs quite a bit. So, yeah, you should always work within your comfort zone. I'm working within mine. I'm not doing anything unsafe or outrageous. It's just I'm taking larger shavings than I normally do, just to hog this stuff off. But I have the skill to do it. So don't just blindly copy anybody you see, including me. This is a result of lots and lots and lots of practice. Who? What? Oh, thanks, Mav. I appreciate that. That's kind of you. Thank you. Oop.
Paranoid squatch, does that mean Skynet will just destroy itself?
You know, that's a damn good question. I hope so. But right now, Elon is very much in the process of creating Skynet. So I guess we got to wait for that. Although I really would rather not see tons of satellites just dropping out of the sky. Okay, let's take the sharp corner off. Corners, rather. Oh no, I already got that one. So that one and that one are gone. Double check my thickness here. It's close. It's very close. All right, that's all that matters. So it's got to be really, really close. This is as exact as you can get it when you're doing a twice turned object. You want your wall thicknesses to be even so that the drying process is even throughout. And if I got a thicker spot, it's going to take, say here, it's going to take longer to dry because it's thicker wood than it is out here. So I'm keeping all of that equal. And then I set these on a shelf and let them do their thing, and they're going to change shape a little bit. They're going to dry out, but once they are, then I can actually turn these and give them their final shape. These are what I call blanks. This is an actual blank. It is a bowl. It's not finished, but that's to me is what a blank is. A blank actually has the form that you're going to turn into it. Whereas, in my opinion, a billet, which is just a lump of timber or whatever, it could be any shape. When I talk with people about, yes, I'm creating some blanks, most people think, oh, you're just cutting up wood into pieces to be able to turn later, and that's not what I actually mean. When I say I'm creating blanks, I mean I'm actually creating a form that has a thicker wall that I will turn down to its final shape at some point.
Paranoid Scotch said
And there we are. Ah, yes, that did it. Ah, yes, that got it. Nice. Do like having that heavy duty negative rake scraper. That does help a lot. All right, so I got a little bit of figure that's going down in the bowl. This was, again, backwards. This was the outside of the tree. The figure was all down in here, so I've got two like that. This one actually does have some figure in it. This has more spalting than anything. The figure is going to be, out here on the rim. That's those two. And these two, you can see the figure goes through the bottom, so now it will show up once this is twice turned. I'll have figure in the bottom of these guys. So I'm going to go set these on the drying rack. I'll be right back. Let's see, which one do I want to use? Maybe this one over here. Wow, I created a mountain of shavings today. That's awesome. Except now I got to wade through it. Okay, up here we go. There's one. Oh, my shoulders are screaming. They do not like that. Working overhead. But I gotta get up to the top part of this rack. Oh boy. Yep. Shoulders are not happy. There's that one. And ouch, that one. Okay. So those are done. Now I can go to my piercing, which is what I want to work on next. Now this bowl, this mahogany bowl, had alder as a top, so it's a covered bowl more or less. You can call it a box if you want. It's basically the same thing.
Paranoid Squatch, yeah, those were the good old days. As they are ducking behind a burned out car, shooting at robots. LUL.
Look, I'm going to say this was, yeah, that will be their good old days. Yeah, no doubt. I hope that this is never the good old days. This is terrible. Terrible, terrible. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this guy. I'm going to want to use my shelf, my table. And I think I'm going to need to replace that tenon.
Abaddis said, people like Dave Rife will be rich, as they will know how to build things out of wood.
Assuming we have wood. Eeny, meeny, miny, more. Where's that's the guy? Nope, that's not the guy. That's the guy. Yeah, I do like learning all that kind of stuff. I like to be able to fabricate things. Turning wood is just extra fun because, anytime I need a handle or a mallet, I can just turn it. And I'd really like to make a treadle lathe, a spring treadle lathe that is run by saplings as the motor, spring action, so to speak. I mean, you can build one just about anywhere that you have saplings, thick enough saplings that'll bend. You can set up anywhere in the woods, pretty much. I don't really know off the top of my head how to make one, but I'm coming up with the ideas so that I can do that. They used to, way back in the early days of turning, I guess. They used to. Come on, Dave. Who are they? I don't know. Medieval wood turners. Well, we'll use the word medieval. They would just take the frame that held the spindle and some probably rope or maybe leather. What am I looking for? Oh, it's all right here by the door. And then haul that out to the woods, cut their wood, and then rough out the shapes that they needed. Chair parts, furniture parts, whatever. And then haul that back to where they had an actual lathe set up, which most people would not recognize their lathe set up as compared to what we use today. Although in the UK, there are still people who use those hook tools and on the older style lathes that were, they were all kind of custom built by the turner. And so they'd rough things out in the woods, get all the bark off, that kind of stuff, and then haul that all back and do the actual finish turning back at their, shop or whatever they called it. And so I want to make a treadle lathe that's portable, and I also want to learn how to just do that on the fly in the woods. I think I would have to take maybe just an H frame or an I frame, and then I could make whatever spindle I want out in the forest, put it in there, drive those legs of the I or the H into the ground so that they don't spread apart, right, when the thing is going back and forth spinning, because a treadle lathe is the piece turns one way, and then as you let up it's back and forth, back and forth. Still, you're only essentially cutting in one direction, but with a modern lathe, it all goes in one direction or another, depending on how you set your lathe. This lathe does not go in reverse, so I only have one direction that I can use on this lathe. Now my portable lathe, my little Rikon, that I can go
lathe would be cool
either way. Yeah, we've got a guy in the turning club. He hasn't been to the meetings for a while. But I mean, stuff's been happening, so Anyway, life is most likely what's getting in the
Abatus
way.
said, a treadle laugh would be a good project to make for our maker fair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it'd be perfect. And then you can just take it wherever. Okay, what are these guys? I think these guys are wood burning, so I don't need those. This is what I need. Now, wait. I'm going to go look back in my container because I think I ordered more of these guys, and I should have more than just two. Although the last time I was piercing, I left my material a little thick, and I busted a couple of those bits. They are only a 16th of an well, these are a millimeter, but I like the millimeter ones better than the 16th of an inch because there's slightly more material there. I do not see. So this might be a case of I was really thinking hard about ordering and didn't get that far. That's a possibility. All right, so I'm going to use the ones that I have, which are perfect for the job anyway. We're going to do some piercing. Now, let's see. I got to catch up on chat here. People like Dave Life. Oh, we're back there. Treadle Lathe. Mav says,
Mav
welcome
K14
to all the
said,
other
opera.
episode of As the Word Turns, and we know you're pining for another episode of this soap opera. Yes, sir. I know I am. I know I am. All right, so last week I turned this bowl out of mahogany and then this lid out of alder, and I was really fast because I haven't turned alder before. It's got some really neat little rays and features in it that I've never seen before. I'm hoping that it'll show up on camera. You know what? Maybe if I perhaps clean this lens a little bit, that might be helpful. Perhaps. Let it focus again, and at the same time, I need to tighten this down. Did I get it? Yeah. So if I turn this the right way, I don't know if these little rays will show up, but they're in a U shape, going opposite of the grain. So the grain is going in a upward curve, and then these guys are going in a downward curve against the grain. It's very interesting. But anyway, I turned this lid, left it thicker here and here, so that I had that stability, and then and the frame, so to speak, the framing the area that I'm going to pierce. So this is about about an eighth of an inch thick, and I'm just gonna have some fun. I would like to use my dental drill because it's a right angle. And I need to grab something like this. Let's see, I want a piece of some kind of paper. This will do. Something to catch these little pieces here. And if I cut, I didn't cut all the way through. Well, Dave, you need to cut it all the way through, dude. So just going to do random shapes in this whole area here. And I guess each one is going to take more than one pass. All right. Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just making abstract shapes. Sort around, sort of not. Piercing is really cool stuff,
The
but
Milwaukee Brewers are beating the Chicago Cubs 5-0 in the middle of the 8th inning.
wow. They romped all over them then if they were up one on the third. Now they're, what'd you say? Beating five. Now they're up another four. Okay. You know, on this kind of stuff, if you want to draw a pattern, you can.
Nav K14 said 5-0.
Wow. Well, you know, it's the Cubs. I mean, does that mean to say? I don't know.
Nav K14 said Cubs completely useless by September.
Well, they must be improving. It didn't used to take them that long. What I remember from my youth, anyway. But I did like to watch the Cubs play. Cincinnati Reds. That's what it was. It wasn't a St. Louis. It is the Reds, right? I can't remember now. It's been so long. I think it's the Reds. They're the baseball team. So it's really important, I found, when you're doing piercing, that you go just like every other tool. You only go as fast as the tool can cut, because switch, there it is. Let's see, that might actually show up better. So it's very, it's a millimeter. It doesn't take a lot of abuse. Wrong switch. But the material does need to be relatively thin, because heat is a problem too. Like you see on the piercings here, the edges are not burned on the inside. I don't typically want the edges burned on the inside, but if you move too fast or the wood's too thick, you can burn the edges as you're cutting these pieces out, and then you'll have black all the way inside, which is not a bad look depending on if that's what you're after. In this case, I'd rather that didn't happen. So just gotta take my time. Piercing it does take time. or maybe I should say it's just a little bit more difficult. That'll work. This alder's cutting really nice though, so that's a bonus. And for what it's worth, I have learned, at least for myself, it helps to have the area framed out that you're going to work in. So, you know, you don't stray out of it. And that's why I made the thinner part here and then left that framed. So I knew exactly what area I was going to work in. So we'll just keep going like this all the way around. But I like to save these little these little bits that I cut out for future resin projects because I've got. You know what? I'll show it off. I'll be right back. Be right back. I don't know if I've ever shown this on the broadcast or not, but where's it at? There it is. Alley oop reach. There we go. And I'm gonna grab my little dusting brush here because this needs to be dusted. I got a nice kind of expensive paintbrush, you know, for house painting, but the bristles are perfect for dusting delicate objects. So I did a pierced piece and then made a resin cast out of it. So it looks like water's pouring out and saving all these little bits. It looks like they're just pouring out of here, and this is one of the pieces I did. When did I do this one? 2023. So ever since, I've been saving these little bits, so if I do another something like this, I'll have them. I need some water. Yes, I'm a wood turner. I have a wooden cup. This is next to my water cooler. I use it all the time. I turned this dude in 2023. It's still in excellent shape. Woodware will last a lifetime if you take care of it. I seal any of my food pieces that are any of my pieces that are intended for food. I seal the wood with walnut oil. Walnut oil does actually polymerize, and so it makes a little bit of a durable shell. It never goes rancid. It doesn't go bad. Your seed oils and your nut oils can go bad and go rancid. Definitely the seed oils. So never use seed oils on wood. I don't use them in cooking either, to be quite honest. Because why? Why the hell would I want to eat something that's not necessarily designed to be eaten by human beings? Seed oils. Keep that to yourself. I will take the natural stuff. Natural oils, fats, not the manufactured rapeseed oil. Yeah, I mean, they put it in the food, and yeah, it's quote unquote generally safe to eat, but it's a leftover from manufacturing process. It's really not that safe to cook with, but that's how they market it. Because, hey, money. Money's money, my little honey. A rich man's jokes are always funny. As the song goes. Well, I also got to take my time because I got to make sure that all these bridges have some meat to them because they'll get really weak if they're thin. And then your piece will break apart. So don't get your piercing holes too close together. And just go as fast as the tool can cut. There's no hurry. Even if it is in your head, there's really no hurry. The more you hurry, the more shit can get screwed up. So take your time. Let the tool do the work. And one of the cool things about piercings is, especially with abstract shapes, you make a mistake, just make it bigger. Make the hole bigger. Nobody's going to know. Who's going to know? Unless you tell them. Oh, yeah, no, that's part of the design. Allow yourself allow yourself to make mistakes. It's like how you're going to learn faster making those mistakes than you are trying to avoid them. We're human beings. We make mistakes. It's normal. It's just that, at least in America anyway, and especially in my family growing up, mistakes were a no-no. Mistakes were a failure on your part. And I don't agree. Mistakes are where we learn really valuable lessons. Experience is always the best teacher. So get your hands dirty. Make some mistakes. Make some pieces. They don't have to be perfect. Just have to be where, they don't even have to be anything. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever your skill level is. Everybody's skill level is different. Everybody's ability to perform a task is different than the next guy. We have similarities. We're human beings. We are a singular species. I really don't even think I care for the word race anymore because there is no race. Race is a made up. Race to me is a made up term to keep people separate. There's no different races. We're all human beings.
Get in a jam.
We're all human beings. It's a human race. It's not a black, white, pink, yellow, whatever. We're all human beings. That's the race we need to worry about. Not, are they a different color or speak a different language or they have a different religion or whatever. Well, religion isn't really a race, but some people associate religion with a race. Or what they call a race. Say, I don't know, the Finns, the folks in Finland, they are not a different race. They're a different culture, a different country, but they're still human beings. And that is the same everywhere. It's just that that's not what we're taught. And it's sad because all it is continual separation and ignoring nature and life around us. And it's taken me 60 years to figure that out, unfortunately. But at least I think I got it. Finally. I think we ought to be able to help each other out without any worry about whether or not we're going to get shot because we look different or sound different or wear different clothes or practice a different religion or whatever it is. Those are individual choices. The bottom line is we're all human beings. We're all members of the human race. And that's my definition of the race. Race. What's a race? Human race. That's the race.
Mav K14 said, the Milwaukee Brewers lead the Chicago Cubs 5-2 at the end of 8.
Wow. At the end of the bottom of the 8th, is that what you said? Okay. Well, I doubt the Cubs are coming back from that. But, they got 2 at the bottom of the 8th, so who knows? Took them the whole game to get there. I do have to say, athletes impress me, not because of the things that they sponsor or whatever, but just having that physical prowess to be able to do something like that in an extended time frame. That's impressive. Gymnasts, that's a sport. They are impressive. Ice skaters, sport, impressive. Golf is also a sport, also requires muscle memory and strength. And I think that I didn't know. The first time I ever golfed the actual game, not like putt-putt, I did a full 18 holes. Bad thing to do first time out. But it was a golf scramble at work. And It was a beer fest and hit a ball around the golf course. I mean, we were keeping score because the president of the company wanted to make sure that he had the best score, so everybody had to keep score, and nobody could beat the president. Nobody could beat the president of the company. That was a bad move. If you were a better golfer, you didn't golf better than the president. Is the way I heard it. But anyway, that's when I learned I have a natural golf swing. But I don't play golf. No, I just don't. But I am impressed by the physical prowess that it actually takes, because it takes strength, without a doubt. People who excel at those things, that's impressive to me. Um, I mean, I'm not some weakling or whatever, but I don't think I could run a full quarter, or even a full inning. With baseball, if we're talking baseball, I might be able to get through a full inning. I don't know. These guys train for it. I do think that we have here in America, anyway, a misapplied sense of value. I think that celebrities, sports. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be paid, but come on, man. Where else are you going to make $7 million? Play basketball. I think it's a little bit inflated. I mean, what about the guy or the people who build your refrigerator? What about that? I think maybe they should be making a little bit better money. And the guy that builds your car, or people. It's not just men anymore. The people who build your car. Well, I think they should be paid well. I would want them to appreciate their job, and not have a crappy time at work, and then have that bleed over into their actual. Um, Easy there. So, whoop, don't keep turning. Into their actual. Come on, Dave. What's the word? Performance, right? Somebody's having a bad day, doesn't tighten a couple of nuts, or a couple of bolts, or a couple of nuts, and then that car rolls off the assembly line. Somebody gets hurt. Yeah, no. But in this country, that's just how it is. It's really wild. I don't know if it is the same everywhere else. I know football, and we'll call it not American football. So what we call football in America is quite different from what we call soccer here in America, but it's football. And that is a sport enjoyed by many cultures. You know, I understand in a team, right? You got better paid players because they perform at a different level. No different than in like a corporate setting. Um, you perform at a higher level, you, at least in theory, get paid better. This is America, so that doesn't necessarily hold true, alas. It did for me on a couple of jobs I had, a couple of career choices I made, but it was all, industrial electronics, or just electronics and instrumentation. And I mean, that's a very skilled field, and they pay to keep good people there. But I think that should be everywhere. And I can honestly say that in two of the jobs that I've had working with industrial electronics or industrial machinery, measuring systems, stuff like that, there's two jobs that I had that, were it not for there being a union in the shop, they would have been some of the worst paying jobs ever. I'm not pro or anti-union. I know unions, I feel like unions have their place, especially when they are, in fact, helping the workers. There's corruption everywhere, so I'm not going to say that every union is good, but there's corruption in government, there's corruption everywhere. But a good union, I don't think, should be run out. Collective bargaining helps more people than it hurts. And really, the more the people that may affect the most in what might be considered a negative fashion are corporations, because they can't get away with paying people squat, paying people not a living wage. Man, I think I'm starting to sound like maybe I should run for political office. Holy crap. But these are just my opinions. Some may share them, some may not. That's okay. But I would rather err on the side of humanity and people being able to eat and keep a roof over their head and clothes on their backs and be able to feed their kids and be able to even have a family. I mean, damn, man, people are not having. Almost done, man. Come on out of there. Got it turned a little bit sideways when I cut it, so it got stuck in the hole. Anyway, piercing goes a lot better and a lot more smoothly the thinner that you have your material to work with, or the thinner the material is. You don't burn up your bits, and you don't burn up your wood. Unless that's what you're after. In which case, go for it. I have been known to set my wood on fire. I think kintsugi, which is the Japanese art of burning wood to, they use it in their buildings and stuff to create pest resistance and rot resistance and weather resistance. And all they do is scorch the wood really, really well, and it will last. I do that with my beehives. I don't paint them anymore. I burn the outsides, and they are weatherproof and bug proof and all that. And I've been using the same hive boxes for 5 years now. I have not had to repaint them. I have not had to reburn them. Well, it seems like about 5 or 6 years is what, in my limited knowledge about how long they'll last, I'll need to scorch them again. But it's a lot more present to do that than it is to have to paint everything and get all the nooks and crannies and make it look nice and all that. I think that just burning the boxes is plenty. And I mean, these hive boxes are living proof that works as far as keeping wood from rotting, keeping it weather resistant. I don't have to use any chemicals. It's just fire. One more right here. So there we are. That's it. And now I can do whatever I want with that. Although I'm not going to scorch it now because I have all these bridges of wood and it's really, really thin. If I was going to do that, I would scorch it first and then do the piercing. And I know that because I tried it. Didn't work out well. Five to two. Well, well. All right, let's put that away and that away. All right, so I need a little bit of 220 abrasive because that's what I sanded this to. So clean up some of that outside fuzziness. Just gently sand it. I'm gonna get the fuzzies off the outside, and I'll do the same thing to the inside of this lid. I don't want to push too hard. This is fairly solid, especially since I left the bridges. You know, I didn't make them too thin, but I'm not putting tons of pressure on this. I don't want to break through accidentally. I've done that too. Oh, why am I doing it this way? Why am I doing it this way? That's just silly. Why am I doing it this way? Okay, let me close this off. That's got to get put away. I need to save all of these guys. So let's just get those and get rid of the sawdust. And I could be wrong. This could be a not smart thing, but excuse me. But we're gonna do it anyway. Another reason why I left those thick, just in case. I don't need a really tight hold. Just need to keep it in place. Slow that down. Oh shit, I was already turning at my slowest speed. See, it just made it go so much faster. Okay, and then I'll flip it around. Again, not putting too much pressure on it. I've got lots of little holes in this thing now. I've got material to push back against the jaws that are pushing out this thick bead here, so that's going to be helpful, but I don't need to give it too much pressure because all this material is gone. So nothing's holding that together but these little bridges. I don't want to split it apart. That made that very fast and easy. Yes. Use the tools you got. Hey, there's another one. So there's our finished bowl. Mahogany. I still think this stuff looks amazing. I haven't turned. I'm assuming this is American mahogany. It's denser than the other mahogany I've turned before, but it has a really nice chatoyance. And then this pierced lid now. I think sets that off, so now I can finish this guy. And that'll be a completely finished piece. Nice. I am happy with that. And just using abstract shapes. I mean, it looks very nice. I didn't have a specific shape that I was trying to turn. It was just oblong abstract shapes. But you can see now the wall thickness that I've got in here. It's quite different from that wall thickness here and this wall thickness that's here. This wall thickness here is twice what this wall thickness is, and this is twice what that is. But that's thin enough that I could do a piercing without burning the wood, scorching the wood, and without ruining the tool. And yeah, it came out very nice. So let me go set that aside. Get that ready for putting finish on it later. Shoot, lights are not on. Will be 7 to 9, and Tuesdays will stay at 8 to 11 typically. And tomorrow I will have a project that I want to play with. I got a really good idea. Thank you, sir. So, for those of you who may came in late, howdy, my name's Dave. I'm a wood turner. I started turning as therapy for PTSD, and found out I had a knack for it.
Thanks, hands pressed together. At Dave Rive.
Hi. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate you hanging out and the follows, the subscriptions as well, and participating in chat. That's huge. The participation in chat really makes, the way I understand it anyway, the algorithms. It really does change the algorithms, and I get more views. I get in front of more people, and I want to reach as many people as I can. Wood turning is not the scary. It looks scary. I mean, it is an inherently dangerous thing to do. Driving a car is an inherently dangerous thing to do. Um, I'm not saying that it doesn't have issues that uh, safety protocols can address. Want to turn as safely as possible, wear the protective gear where I need it, and go with that. But wood turning is actually mostly finesse. It's just it's if you're white knuckling it, you're not doing it well. And actually, in my opinion, if you're white knuckling, you're not doing it right. It shouldn't be beating yourself up to turn something on a lathe. And I'm not saying it should be effortless. I know I make things look easy. It's a lot of practice. That's the secret sauce. There's no other way around it. You have to get the practice, get the proper instruction, and then practice that, and then work that into your own physical abilities, working within with your own motor skills, everything. You make it your own. Everybody starts at the same baseline, right? Especially learning a new task. We all start it the same way, but everybody does things a little bit different because everybody's body is a little bit different. And then age plays into it, experience plays into it. I mean, there's a lot of things. So I like to teach the skills and the body mechanics. I like to be able to show people that it is not um, a physically stressful thing. It doesn't have to be a physical stressful thing to do. If it is, that's probably why you're not turning as much as you may want to, or it may be it's keeping you from turning because you think it's too much work. Turning is mostly finesse, but it takes time to get there. You have to put in the practice. I highly recommend getting competent instruction from a turner who knows what they're doing. Don't blindly follow YouTube. I started doing that, had some issues. I didn't even know I had issues. I've broken two banjos, three tool rests, and one skew. And it's not easy to break a skew. But those were in my very early days, and I was following advice I got on YouTube. And in my opinion, YouTube is they do things for the views. That's how they monetize. That's how they get monetized. They get all these views, and so they may not necessarily do things the safest way, or the most efficient way, or with sharp tools. Um, and I'm not saying that one turning tool is better than another. They all have their uses.
Abaddis said, "One
But
day I will get a project done on the lathe."
yeah, and you gotta show it too, man. You gotta bring it. I don't know, or at least send me a picture. We'll figure that out. I want to see what you turn. I know that. So I don't know how many lays that group has, but if you can get in there, man, that for me is like one of the most relaxing things to do is to turn. It's very meditative. Once you get the skills down, then your muscle memory can take over. And once the muscle memory starts to take over, then your mind gets freed. And once that mind gets freed, all that chatter, it doesn't make any difference anymore. You're in the moment. And that is one big deal that I find about turning. It takes a focus, it takes a unique focus. You got to be in the here and now, paying attention to what you're doing. And that is huge therapy for someone with PTSD like myself. It's huge to not have to deal with that chat. I mean, it still goes on, and I'm still working with the issues, right? But they're not at the front of my brain. They're not my focus. The focus is where I'm at and how I feel, and is this working well? What do I have to adjust, or do should I even be turning? If I've done this enough. I've been turning for since 2015. So what is that? I'm on my 11th year. One of the first things, it was a hard lesson, very, very hard lesson for me. But it is, I find it very important that if you're in a space that you can't get your head into the space where you're at, you can't get into the here and now, don't, don't turn. Walk away. Walk away from it. If you get frustrated, walk away. Calm yourself down. Get that flusteredness or
Abaddis
whatever to
said,
calm down.
"Focus, I might be
Then
in
you can
trouble."
come back and begin again. If you start off with bad cuts and a bad attitude, it's not going to get better, especially if you're trying to force your way through it. It's just not going to get better. If you hop out of your cut or you get into a bad situation with a cut, get out of the cut and start it over. If you're having an issue with a piece on the lathe, walk away for a little bit and then come back. You need to have that focus in order to be successful, and being able to turn and learning that it really is mostly finesse. That's made a huge difference in the time that I spend at the lathe, and I find that I enjoy it. It's one of the most enjoyable experiences, even if piece doesn't survive. We're dealing with natural materials here. In most cases, timber. You don't know. I mean, looking at the outside of a tree, I can't tell. Are there ring shakes in there? Is it full of rot? Does it have fungus growing in it? Are a bunch of insects have torn it all up? Is the wood any good? I can't tell. I can't tell till I get into it, and that's why
struggling tonight. The text-to-speech is 60 seconds behind.
Well, that would
Said.
be,
Also, the stream is starting to
yeah,
glitch.
yeah, I had intended to replace this camera, ran into some other issues that took the finances away from buying these cameras. So this camera it is actually glitching. It's been glitching since I got the new laptop.
Said. Too much sawdust.
Yeah, it's fairly new computer. I'm hope not. That would be bad. That would be bad. It's a Mac. It's an expensive piece of equipment. I hope that isn't ever going to be the case. I do my best to mitigate dust with it. But anyway, as I was saying, I started turning as therapy for PTSD and found out that I had a knack for it. And I fell in love with it.
I have a similar
And
issue.
then I started teaching it, and I fell in love with that. And I started really, actually, I started teaching kids.
Said, oh yeah, even an old Mac will work fine.
Oh heck yeah! My old Mac from 2011 worked all the way up till last year. Now everything is it's too old to run most of the stuff. Um, but anyway, that's why I started this channel, because I really enjoy teaching, and I want to become a better teacher and a better demonstrator. So I'm doing these videos and putting this stuff together. I also want to be a better turner. I'm always trying to improve my skills. So the more time I have at the lathe, the better. And like I say, I mean, there are people who have been turning 30 years, make shit look easy, that I'm like, wow, that just looked effortless. And I know that it is effortless, but they've had all that practice. And me at with 11 years, I make a lot of things look easy. They're not easy. It's just that I've had the practice. So that's the biggest deal I tell people. That's the secret sauce. There are no shortcuts. There aren't any. You have to put the time behind the wheel. You have to make the mistakes. You have to learn. And you got to allow yourself the ability to do that. Don't beat yourself up too much. It's a natural material that we're working with. You don't know you do the best you can, but you don't necessarily know until you start carving into it what you're going to find. Um, and even so, even practicing, when I'm practicing new techniques, I look at every piece as a practice piece, more or less. If it turns out well and I can finish it and all that, yeah, that's a bonus. But I, I do specific art projects, but most of the stuff I turn is I'm like in the zone, and I'm just turning what the wood will let me turn, what the wood says it wants to be. So almost every piece is a one-off. I can do multiples of things because I've done production work, and that has been an amazing education, production work, because everything has to be like really similar. Chair legs, balusters, spindles, whatever. And so being able to incorporate that into my everyday turning has made a lot of difference too. There's a whole world out there of wood turning that I'm only touching myself this much, and this much off of, say, the height of the um, um, Eiffel Tower. We'll use Eiffel Tower. That much I know, and I'm learning more all the time. There are so many aspects to wood turning. I'm only grazing the surface, and I've been doing it for 11 years. Even guys have been doing it for 30. They're only grazing, a little bit more of a surface, but they're not encompassing everything either. There's so much. Everybody's got a different input, and every input is valuable, right? So give that to yourself, that your input is worthwhile. That, I think, alone should give you the energy to go out and turn. Your voice is important. How you do this is important. I don't care what anybody is turning. If I get a chance to watch somebody turn, I just want to watch them turn. I want to see how they do it. And if they're open and they want to talk about it, if I have maybe a better approach to something, I will happily share it. But on the other hand, I've learned a lot just by watching. and paying attention to what's happening. And it's a full sensory experience. I use my ears, my eyes, I use my nose because you can smell when something's on fire, right? And sometimes you can smell if you got rotten wood and you don't really realize it until you're starting carting into it. You can smell that. You can feel the wood, the texture, what's happening with it. So it's a full sensory experience, but you have to allow yourself to do that. It's not like I'm going to turn a piece of wood and I'm only just going to use my sight, right? And I'm going to, I don't know what's happening with the wood unless I'm listening to it. I don't know how the tool is interacting with the wood unless I listen to it. And I know the difference between a good cut and a bad cut. It's the sound, it's the feel. And again, sorry to say, there's no shortcuts. It has to be experience and it has to be practice. So I want to, I want to, I'm having trouble with English right now. I'm sorry. Uh, I want to, I don't want to, it's not admonish, encourage. I want to encourage you to get out there and practice, get out there and learn, get out there and have some fun. And who cares? You throw in shavings. I've done that. I've turned pieces of wood to nothing but shavings, just practicing the tool techniques. Nothing comes out of it but shavings on the floor. That's it. But, it takes that. It does take that. Give yourself the ability to make those mistakes and go forth and turn, man. Make the world a better place, make it a prettier place. We have, as humans, a very, very long relationship with trees. Way back in the day, some of our ancestors lived in them, right? We've been using wood for thousands and thousands of years for a lot of things. So we do have, and I think maybe it's even a racial recognition. Like people know the difference between how real wood feels and not real wood, even if they have had limited experience with touching wood. So I think it's like a racial memory that we know these things. But I mean, wood is one of the most beautiful, I think, materials to work with, and it's always different. You will have in a log, you can have some kind of figure, or whatever, and then 2 feet further up the log, you may have more or less or nothing. It may just be plain wood. It's just different throughout the tree. It's amazing. It's just I don't know. I sound like a fanboy, but I am. I mean, it's every piece of wood is different, even if it's off the same tree. It may cut very similarly, right? Depending on how the grain, if you how much compression wood you're getting through and all that. But every single piece of wood is different. Every approach to a new piece, at least in my case, is all right. What do you have that I can work with? What is it that I can do to work with you? I want to see some finished piece come out. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be small. It could be, well, at least on my lathe, I can do a 13.5 inch diameter piece. That's the largest piece I can do, unless I do outboard, which I'm not going to do outboard on this lathe. I tried it once. Wasn't a great experience, although I did get the piece done. It was not a great experience. And some of that is because this is just a 1 horse motor. The lathe weighs 400 pounds, but a full size lathe, 2, 3 horse motor, with all that's something that, and of course you have a larger swing on those. You got more power. And that's what I need. And power, torque, more torque. It's not power that I'm looking for. I'm looking for torque. I want to be able to turn a piece of wood, and I want to be able to turn it slow or fast or whatever. I want that motor to be able to handle it. With this 1 horse motor, I'm limited uh, to a degree. With a 2 horse motor, I'd still be limited to a degree. With a 3 horse motor, I would still have some limitations because of the equipment. And that would be perhaps the size that I could actually turn on that piece. But the torque is what matters to me. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I want a larger motor, but that's only because it's not more power. It's more torque. I need that. I need that torque. But that's something I've learned about myself over the years, and you will learn different things about yourself as you get through your turning journey. And I'd really like to be a part of that. If you would like some instruction, hey, give me a shout. We can set things up. Find a turner in your local turning club.
Abaddis said, "That sounds scary and fun."
It's a little both. At least in the early stages of the turning journey, it can be a little scary. But as with any other thing that human beings do, flying a plane, driving a car, riding a bicycle, walking down the street, there's inherent danger. I don't want to minimize it, but I don't want to blow it out of proportion either. I know that this is a spinning piece of material, spinning at, in my case today, it was 400 RPM. I mean, I'm not hung up on lathe speeds. That's what the dial says on my lathe. I'm turning at whatever speed works for the piece of wood that I'm turning. That's where I set my speed. And I don't even like, well, I got to set it to 1200 exactly or 1149 or something like that. I just get it set to where it's going at the pace that works for that piece of wood. That's where I'm comfortable. I don't care that somebody's turning the same piece of wood at 3000 RPM. I could care less. If that works for you, then that's great. That's awesome. Work with what works for you. It doesn't matter to me the speed. I don't get hung up on speed anymore. It's all about technique, finesse, and getting that muscle memory in there and set so that you can do the things you want to do. Working with your body, moving your hips and knees and shoulders, uh, elbows, all that stuff, to keep your elbows tucked in. There's little things, just tons of pieces of the puzzle. The only way those pieces get put together is by you going in and putting those pieces into place. That means you got to be behind the wheel. Bottom line. So enough about me soapboxing and all that kind of crap. Uh, Wood turning is amazing therapy. It's very relaxing, and there's not very many tasks you can do that feed instant gratification so quickly. I mean, last week I turned two bowls in that lid in a couple hours. And I just turned four blanks, and then did, well, that wasn't turning, it was piercing, but still, it's a finished piece. And I did it in less than a day. Instant gratification is met. Check that one off. I don't have to worry about that. It's not something that's going to drag. I do have projects that drag on and drag on and drag on. It depends on the skill level that I might need to achieve a certain kind of shape or whatever, design, whatever it is. But sometimes it's I'm waiting for the right piece of wood. So there's all these little pieces. But it's at getting those together in your own head, putting them in that list or whatever in that order that works for you, that works with your own physical frame. Those are the things that I really enjoy teaching. Wood turning should be fun. It should be fun. It shouldn't be work. It shouldn't be beating the shit out of yourself. Because if you're beating the shit out of yourself, you're not going to want to do it. And that's not the right way to do it anyway. So yes, find competent, very competent, find competent instruction, practice that. As you practice that, work your own body mechanics into that and make it your own. That's the style that I like to teach. So anyway, thank you very much. I really appreciate the support here, the participation in chat, the follows and the subscriptions. Thank you very much. I do this because I want to get this out in front of as many people as I can, because I want to involve veterans like myself who might be having issues with PTSD and can't find something that works for them. This has worked for me, and it's worked for other veterans that I know. This is great therapy. I mean, it's great physical therapy. The weight of the lathe. When I started turning, I couldn't stand up for longer than like 5 or 10 minutes. I had some very physical issues, um, uh, but there were a lot of nights, and there still are nights that I don't sleep or I wake up because I'm having a nightmare or whatever. I started early on coming out when I had that issue, coming out to turn, because then I could get my mind focused in the here and now instead of what was going on, whatever that memory is. And that still goes on in the back. It doesn't get ignored, but it's now no longer the main focus. I started doing that. Of course, gave me more time at the lathe. Um, but after a little bit of time and getting the practice and the tool skills down, it became much more meditative. And I find it that way. I've talked to other veterans too, and not just veterans, but veterans that I've talked to have said the same thing. They find it very meditative, very relaxing, and it can be for anybody. You don't have to worry about whatever your skill level is. You can do this. Everybody has different skill levels, right? So don't compare yourself to Michelangelo or whatever. Not that he was a woodturner, he might have been. I don't know. He was a lot of other things, a painter and a sculptor and all that other stuff. So who knows? Maybe he turned wood too. I don't know. Maybe he made furniture. Beats the crap out of me. Don't know the guy. Just what we have written down in historical books. But everybody's skill level is different. It doesn't make it any less valid, right? You do the best you can do. And that's all anybody really can ask. If there is that, you could ask that, I guess. I know that's all that anybody can ever actually provide. You can't do any more than the best they can do. It's not possible. But you can do the best you can do.